Hello everyone. In this part, I'm going to show a quick demo of Amazon EC2 and AWS in general, Amazon Web Services or Amazon Cloud. So you can see that the first thing that you have to do is just going to the Amazon website, AWS website, and then you click on sign into the console. Please note that you have to create a student account and that has some free services for you. So the instructions are in the assignment. Once you log in, you can see the AWS Management Console. That is where all the services are listed. And the list of services, as you can see, is numerous. Many services are listed here. The first and foremost is compute services. And then compute services are, the first thing is EC2, which is the Elastic Compute Cloud, and that is the one that offers virtual machines and infrastructure as a service type of cloud services, and one of the most important services in Amazon. There are other stuff too. For example, Lambda is a function as a service type of service model, and Batch is for batch workload. Elastic Beanstalk is for deploying applications like in a PaaS manner, platform as a service manner. And there are many more, like containers, if you want to use container services, storage services like S3 as we discussed, different database services from relational to NoSQL and Cassandra, um, networking services like IPA, static IP, DNS, all those type of services, um, and many more, really many more. One fancy one and the recent one is actually the quantum technology. So Amazon now provides us or enables us um, to instantiate from a quantum computer and use that for our quantum algorithms. So there are another fancy one is this machine learning. So you can see there are numerous machine learning based services offered by Amazon. One of them is AWS DeepLens, in which uh, uh, you can apply machine learning on captured videos of a camera, and for face recognition and things like that. And there are other many other stuff. One important thing is this IAM service, which is a security service that is for managing your users, credentials, all security related stuff are here. There are even instances for edge computing. Yes, there you go. Internet of Things and edge computing. So these are all resources related to that type of service. So today I'm going to explain some more important ones that are used in your assignment 3. So one of them is EC2. I mentioned that EC2 is the most important service, or one of the most important services in Amazon. So here, once you click on EC2, you see a lot of different options. So if you go to the running instances, you can see now I have two running instances and few other options on the left side. One of the important ones um, is spot requests. You can see, if you remember in the previous slides, I mentioned that you can bid for instances and instantiate in an auction and with a lower price. Reserved instances, that's another type. Dedicated hosts, that you can have a dedicated physical server for you. Of course, you have to pay much more. And another interesting thing is AMIs. If you remember, AMIs is the list of machine images from which you can instantiate different types of virtual machines. Here you can see one image that I have for myself. It's a private one, but there are numerous public images that you can see the list of them here. And here is the name of the operating system. Let's say Ubuntu or Windows, CentOS and Fedora, and different types of flavors of Linux. All right, so moving on, let's go back to the instances, and I want to create a new instance. So I click launch instance, and then once you click on that, it suggests you some AMIs that are probably most popular. It has some more information about the packages inside them and the type of them and things like that. I just keep the default one. And so here, so the previous one was the image and the characteristics of the image, like the platform and things like that. Here is more like VM template, where you define the type of virtual machine, or like the details of it, like how many cores it has, how much memory, how much storage, what type of storage, how much bandwidth, and all these details. So remember that the micros type is free, so probably it's better to go ahead with that. But you can see, if you scroll down, you can see many more instance types, that and the number of CPU cores and other characteristics of it. So these are the compute optimized, FPGA, GPU based, ASIC, many other types of virtual machines. Okay, so let's move on. So there are a lot more characteristics to fix. For the most part, you don't need to touch these. It's just you keep them on the default. That's good to at least see them. The next step is the storage. You can still skip that one. Tag is not really important for us. And then we move to the next part, which is the security groups. So be careful about here. In this part, you determine the ports that you want to be open on your virtual machine. By default, only the SSH port is open to enable you to log into it, to your VM and manage that. However, you can create other ports open and make it open. For example, for HTTP, like that, you can make accept um, a web request and address them. And then once you are done, you can go ahead and review the characteristics and then click launch. Oh, be careful that once you click launch, it asks you for a key pair. So when you work with Amazon or EC2, better to say, you can come up, you can authenticate yourself into the virtual machine using username and password. However, an easier option is to use key pairs. The good thing with key pairs is that once you use key pairs, you don't need to directly input your password into the virtual machine. So it's just seamlessly logging into your VM. So probably you have to create a new key pair. You just give the name of it. Like I can give my name, and then you download the key pair. That must be stored on your computer such so that you can log into that remote instance. Alright, and now it's starting initializing. You can see the status of it if you go back to services EC2 and running instances or instances in general. You can see there is one pending. This is our VM being created or being instantiated. And now after some time it's now in the pending state. After some time it goes to the running state, and once it is in the running state, you can log into it. Okay, sometimes it takes a few seconds to a few minutes. For now you can see that it is in the running state, and now I can get connect to it. So once you click on your VM, there are a lot of metadata about it appears down here. So you can see things like instance ID, the state which it is in right now, many more information, including the public DNS. So this is the URL of your instance. So with this one, you can directly connect to your instance, and its public IP address. So that's another useful piece of information. Anyhow, once you create that, you can connect to it. For connection, you can use terminal, specifically in Linux. But another interesting option, and there are here some hints for you on how to do that. Another interesting option is you can use a web-based terminal provided by Amazon. So you can just use that, and that's more even easier. So like that, you can directly see we are now on our instance in the cloud. And let's say if I do make directory, let's say test, and then ls, you can see the test has been created, cd test, um, and so things like that. Or let's say you can do AIM, let's say test.text, and then type some stuff, and then you can see your file is here, and you can cat that, things like that. All right, I guess then of course you can terminate this one, and but your instances still keep running. You need to terminate that. For that purpose, you go to the instance state and request for a terminate. If you stop it, you can still re-instantiate your instance, but when you terminate it, it just deletes everything. So I'll do the terminate, and I'll move on to another service, which is Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk is an example of a PaaS, platform as a service. So the purpose of it is to abstract you from the details of creating virtual machines, configuring them, and things like that. So it's more like high level. So note that in this case you have to create an environment. So once you click on this one, it asks you even if you want to create a web server environment or a worker environment, which is for the situation where you have let's say a third-party application, let's say let's say machine learning application, or in the another example can be like a video transcoding application, and you want to deploy that. So then you go through this one. But in our case, because we intend to do a web-based thing, we go through this web server environment. Then you select that, you give your application name and the name of your environment. Uh, then you can choose the platform that is important, that you say PHP, but there are other platforms, as you can see, like Python, Ruby, Node.js, and a lot of other stuff. Okay, I choose PHP, then I do not touch other details, and then I will upload my code. And then for that, you just say choose the file, and then I put the zip of all my PHP files into this address. So the file is uploaded, and then you go ahead and create the environment. So note that creating the environment takes a lot of time, so I'm not going to make you wait, and I have already created another environment. So this is our PHP environment being created, but I have already built another environment to save your time. So once everything is fine and it can deploy your application, you can it shows the health is okay, and of course you can go ahead and update your code base and upload a new version of your code base. So you need to do that a couple of times, and then whatever you want to change is goes through this configuration option here. So once you click on configuration, there are many items to modify. For the most part, you do not need to deal with them, unless in this example you need to deal with the database. So once you click on the database, it will ask for some information about the database. I've already put some information, like we are using MySQL, the type of instance for the database tier that we want to use, and username, password, and things like that. And then yeah, so note that this part is not 100% transparent from you. So you still have to create your database. So here there's an endpoint, means the link to your database. So once you click on that, it connects you to another Amazon service known as RDS, Relational Databases, and there you have to create a database. So you can choose, let's say, different databases. You can choose, let's say, MySQL, and then some other details, the name of your database, the username, password, and all those things you provide. And then for yes, for here it generally creates a big instance. So maybe it's better to put just a very simple one, or maybe just put unburstable, which is generally the very um, cheap type of virtual machines that is used for your database tier. So some other details you do not need to touch, and then you hit create to create the database. So I've already done that, and the database uh, is here. Once your database is created, it offers you an endpoint that is like the URL to your database. So if you follow the instructions that we have in the slides on how to deploy database and work with the database, then you can make use of this endpoint specifically here to to upload your uh, database that I have provided to you here in SQL script. So to upload that, you have to use that endpoint and this command to upload your database and populate your database. And then once it is created, then you need still this endpoint within the PHP code to, instead of localhost, to address to refer to this address. All right. I guess yeah, this is RTS. So yeah, so once you create your environment, let's say here, it gives you a URL, as you can see here, and then that is the address of your web page. So once you click on that, you can see that it navigates you to your web application, and you can click on different options of it. All right. I hope this demo is useful for you, and bye.